Greeting folks, my name is Chi Baker and I am the head instructor and school owner of Street Tactical Integrations in Portland, Oregon. And I'm also the director of the DTS Tactical Systems. This video in particular, we're going to talk more about the instructor program for the DTS program. In other videos, you'll find more information about the DTS program as a whole, kind of an overview, kind of the history and the philosophy that pertains to it. Here I want to orient a little bit more towards the instructor part. Along with that, kind of talk a little bit about the program itself. So, as some of you know, the DTS Tactical Systems was born out of Kajukimbo, and there's kind of four main styles of Kajukimbo. There's the Emperado system, the Chuang Fa, Tumpai, and Wun-Hop Kuen-Do. Essentially, what we have done is taken Kajukimbo, in particular Wun-Hop Kuen-Do, and pulled out, extrapolated the main core elements of that system, of that program, and really looked at it and figured out what are the essentials, the necessities for the martial side of the art, for the protection side of the art. Along with that, we've incorporated kind of three other main systems. Jeet Kune Do, which we know is one of the primary systems in Krav Maga. The Kali systems, the Filipino fighting style, which we know are taught amongst kind of worldwide for special operators. And Tai Chi Chuan and Jiu Jitsu, which are vital components of the Sistema program, or the Russian kind of military program. So what we've done is we've pulled a lot out of those other systems and incorporated them all into this system to really offer a very unique program. And the idea is that we've taken all those, shrunken them down into the core essentials again for kind of the martial part of those arts, and created a program that takes roughly 12 months. So the fundamental program takes roughly 12 months to move through. And the idea is to really expedite the learning process. So for the practitioner to really develop essential skills for self-protection and do it in such a manner that it takes a minimal amount of time to really become proficient in a true self-protection system. Many of us know that martial arts, many systems take roughly 5 to 10 years to become proficient at. And after that, hopefully you're developing skills for kind of true self-protection. And that's great. It's part of the kind of the art of it. The idea here is that we are doing less art, more martial. So instead of a lot of forms, a lot of drills, what we want to do is really harness the core skill sets for the student to practice in. And kind of looking at the idea first was born out of helping police, military, and security to gain proficiency at a very fast rate. We know that these specific categories or professionals really need to learn these essential skills fast. They don't have 5 to 10 years before they are going to be sent out on the job to serve and protect. Most police cadet programs are a couple months long. Military maybe have a couple months at best. Security sometimes have a couple weeks to a month. So the idea is that we can really harness core skills and deliver a program that is going to get these people rocking and rolling and feeling proficient in self-protection, in managing conflict, managing combat, managing life-threatening situations. So let's kind of talk about, because most people who maybe are instructors or are going to be teaching this program are going to be to civilians. And if you think about civilians, is that some of us live in hazardous cities. So again, as I mentioned, I live in Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon has become a moderate to high dangerous city depending on the hours or where you are in the city, but we are overrun by homeless. Most of these homeless are drug affected. Some of them have significant mental health issues, and many of them are erratic, impulsive, and violent. I have a personal friend who, in broad daylight, she was at a brunch restaurant in a very popular part of the city, kind of the Alberta neighborhood. She was coming out of the restaurant, and a homeless man looked at her and decided that she was his target. And he launched at her, was yelling, screaming, kind of came at her, and she ran back into the restaurant. This unfortunate, mentally disturbed individual, potentially high, under the influence of alcohol and drugs, pursued her into the restaurant, and she had to run to the back of the restaurant and try to seek safety. Fortunately, they were able to manage the assailant, get him out of the restaurant, and actually there wasn't any police intervention, because in Portland, police interventions are difficult to come by. It's an unfortunate part of what's happening right now, and hopefully soon we will be able to change that. So here's a woman in broad daylight in a popular restaurant getting assaulted. Okay, this is broad daylight. Just imagine if you are working late and trying to get to your car. If you are in a work environment, that's dangerous. Maybe there's hostile people, maybe there's sexual harassment that's happening. Some of us live in neighborhoods that are more dangerous than others. So it may just be when you're out and about in broad daylight, if you're walking to the bus, just taking a nice walk in general around your neighborhood, you may have people in that vicinity who are violent, who are dangerous. Some people, again, because of maybe even their home environment or the type of neighborhood they're in, that there are extremely life-threatening and dangerous situations that are happening on a daily basis that you know about. It's not a surprise when you encounter them. So we're looking at these types of situations, this type of population that are highly concerned for their safety, and they don't have years and years and decades to train to the hopes that they become proficient before their attack. They want a program that is really catered to, that facilitates a very fast learning environment with, again, the core essential skills. So really taking art movements, art skills out, and really focusing on the martial piece of martial arts. I think it's key for instructors to really look at this and say, okay, what program do I offer? What curriculums can I provide that really cater to this specific population? Versus other people who come in, they're excited about either learning the art, right? So that's more form derived. It may be more beautiful or aesthetic looking movements. You have people who are looking for sport and competition, so kind of MMA style or sparring type, which are fantastic, but those don't really necessarily save you from a street assault. So people who are really looking for that reality-based self-protection and not looking for movements that kind of you can quasi-adapt for it, but that have been really engineered with the intention of this is for self-protection, okay, for modern day self-protection. So I think instructors should look at that and say, would a program really help with those certain type of students coming into your school who are already at your school? Other people are interested in belts, they're interested in kind of long-term camaraderie, they're kind of looking kind of to really be a part of the martial family. And that's fantastic too. And that's why we have other programs that really steer us towards, belt systems and somebody being in the arts for, 5, 10, 15, 20 life, okay? And it's not that this particular program, the DTS program, can't also supply that. I've had many people take this course over and over just to stay refreshed in the movements, to continue to hone and practice the skill sets. So you can keep people, or you can keep people who come out of that program and say, hey, are you actually interested in training longer, developing more skills, maybe looking at more complex skills, and you can kind of pull them into some of your other programs. But really looking at a program that is going to provide something that is very condensed and really offer a very unique program. Some of the components of this program, we of course do empty hands, so empty hand strikes, knees, kicks, etc. We, as I mentioned earlier, we do fundamental weapons training of the Kali system, so stick and knife. We also move into some of the police weapons of looking at the baton, potentially a duty knife. In some of the advanced modules, we go into firearm management, so looking at draws, looking at retention, looking at weapon transitions, so kind of the military, police, and security systems. Let's see, we look at situational awareness, verbal de-escalation, locks and chokes. So it's a very kind of well-rounded program, all the way from empty hand to weapons to the ground game. And also we look at multiple attackers. So how do you manage when there's more than one attacker that you're trying to, maintain, kind of get through that situation. So this program, some instructors will have been introduced to all these skill sets. Some of you may be very well versed in all these skill sets, which is fantastic. What this will offer you is a curriculum, a program to deliver all of those skill sets, again, in a 12-month program. And this particular program gives you 52 lesson plans. So you get lesson plans to deliver to your students. Okay, so it's not something where you got to kind of like figure out the pathway. How am I going to deliver these skills? We give them to you. We provide those lesson plans. So you basically have like a DTS red book for you. So at the end of the course, you'll have that ability to just deliver the course just step by step by step. It's very organized, very user-friendly. I'll talk more in another video about kind of the processes of becoming an instructor, but this is kind of more to offer kind of what is the instructor program, what does it entail. We will, the instructor program, we meet for roughly 15 minutes before each class. You will have received the lesson plan the week prior. We will review the lesson plan. Then we will go over the skill sets. So you will be a student at that point, and you will go through the different skill sets. It's also about how to teach. So we all know that there's martial artists who are great martial artists, but they don't know how to teach. This is going to help develop you as an instructor, or enhance you as an instructor. So you may already be an instructor, and some of these kind of skill sets, kind of the briefing and debriefing will really help you develop that as an instructor. And that will be a part of the instructor program, is recognizing and having you facilitate different portions. And you'll be sending videos back to me to help critique kind of how you're developing as an instructor, how you're developing your teaching style. So hopefully that gives you kind of more of an idea of what this program is, but also what the instructor program entails. I'll be releasing more videos on the instructor program, some add-ins, and then more videos on just the overview of the program, kind of focusing more geared towards those videos towards students versus instructors, but it's helpful information for instructors as well. Okay guys, thank you so much for your time. As always, serve and protect your community, and we'll see you in the dojo.